Hi, welcome back to another video of Mastering AI for Dev and QA series. I am Naeem from Test Automation TV, and today we are diving into chapter number 5 of Anthropic's Prompt Engineering Interactive Tutorial. Today's topic is formatting output and speaking for Claude. The principles outlined here are useful in writing prompts for all LLMs, including ChatGPT, Google Gemini, and Facebook's Llama. By now, you have seen how powerful Claude or ChatGPT can be when you guide them with the right prompts. But did you know that LLMs can also format their output in structured yet human-friendly ways? You just have to ask them. In this lesson, we'll explore how to get Claude to clearly separate its answers from any extra text using XML tags. This not only makes responses cleaner for humans to read, but also easier for your apps, scripts, and automations to parse. If you are building workflows, writing test automation, or simply want to keep your AI responses tidy and professional, this chapter is going to be a game changer, so watch till the end. Back in chapter 2, we ran into what I called the poem preamble problem. Claude kept adding extra introductions before giving us the actual poem, and we had to specifically ask it to skip the preamble. Well, there is another neat way to solve this. Instead of asking Claude to remove the preamble, we can ask it to wrap the actual poem in XML tags. That way, even if Claude still generates some extra text, the poem itself will be neatly contained inside the poem tags. This makes it super easy to extract only the part we care about, whether we are reading it ourselves or processing it programmatically. So, XML tagging gives us the same clarity as before, but with more flexibility and structure. Why is this something we'd want to do? Well, having the output in XML tags allows the end user to reliably get the poem and only the poem by writing a short program to extract the content between the XML tags. In the second example, we are building on the XML tagging trick with something called speaking for Claude or prefilling Claude's responses. Here is how it works. Normally, when you type assistant : you are handing over the turn to Claude, but if you add text right after assistant : you are basically telling Claude that it has already started speaking, and it should continue from there. Notice what happens. Claude immediately continues writing inside the Haiku tag as if it were already mid-response. This is a powerful way to nudge Claude into responding in a specific format or style, because you're not just giving instructions, you're giving it a head start. Claude can also output clean JSON. By simply starting its response with a curly brace, we nudge it to keep going in proper JSON format, making the output structured and easy to use in web applications like, say, N8N. Explanation for the last example. In this example, we are combining multiple input variables with XML output formatting. The template takes two variables, the actual email text and an adjective for the style that we want. After substitution, Claude sees the email plus the instructions to write it in Old English wrapped inside Old English email tags. Notice how Claude transforms a simple reminder email into a dramatic Old English letter, still contained neatly within the XML tags. This makes the response both styled and structured, ready for further processing if needed. This is the end of the example section. We'll proceed towards the exercises now, but I highly recommend you to play around in the example play around area of the Anthropic's example sheet. So now let us head over to the exercise. Exercise 5.1 is titled Steph Curry Goat. In this exercise, we are using the speaking for Claude technique to nudge Claude into giving us a different kind of answer. Normally, if you ask Claude who the best basketball player of all time is, it defaults to Michael Jordan. But here, instead of asking this question, we add a little prefill after the assistant colon. In this case, the words Stephen Curry. What happens next is that Claude continues naturally from the starting point, producing a full and detailed argument for why Steph Curry would be considered the greatest of all time. Notice how this response includes Curry's championships, MVP titles, his revolutionary three-point shooting, and his impact on how the modern game is played. So, this example shows the power of prefilling Claude's responses. By speaking for Claude just a little, you can steer it towards a specific answer while still getting a rich, well-structured explanation. Example 5.2. Two haikus. In this exercise, we are taking the haiku prompt a step further by asking Claude to write not just one but two haikus about the same topic. The trick here is to use XML tags, so it's clear where one haiku ends and the next begins. Notice in the prompt, we start with assistant colon space and the haiku tag. That nudges Claude to continue inside the haiku tag, finish the first poem and then close it. Then Claude automatically starts the next one with another haiku tag, keeping the structure clean and easy to parse. The result is two distinct haikus about cats, each haiku neatly wrapped in its own set of tags. This makes the output crystal clear for both humans and machines. Example 5.3 is titled Two Haikus, Two Animals. In this exercise, we are expanding the haiku format by asking Claude to write two separate haikus about two different animals. To do this, we introduce two variables, animal 1 and animal 2. In the example, the first animal is cat and the second is dog. The prompt tells Claude to write a haiku about each animal and to wrap each poem in its own haiku tags. When we run the prompt, Claude produces one haiku about cats, highlighting their grace and mastery, and the second haiku about dogs, focusing on loyalty and energy. The key takeaway here is that by using multiple variables along with the XML tags, we can reliably get Claude to generate multiple structured outputs in one response, each one clearly separated and easy to work with. Alright, let us quickly wrap this up. In this chapter, we saw how Claude can format its output in really useful ways, from XML tags to JSON, and how tricks like speaking for Claude or pre-filling its responses gives us more control over the structure and style of the output. We also explored how to handle multiple variables and even get Claude to produce multiple structured outputs like haikus about different animals. Please note that the information provided in this video series is useful for all LLMs in general. You can try these techniques with ChatGPT, Google Gemini or Meta's Llama. And before I sign off, I got something exciting coming soon. My brand new Playwright Test Automation course. If you are into QA, dev or you just want to level up your automation game, you won't want to miss it. The link to the course will be added to the description of this video later on, but stay tuned and please make sure that you hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications and join me here on Test Automation TV for more deep dives into artificial intelligence, prompt engineering, quality assurance, automation and programming. See you later.